RPN is not responsible for the views, actions, opinions, or statements of its guests or advertisers. The information on this program is not to be construed as medical or legal advice, and an appearance on this show is not necessarily an endorsement, but oftentimes it is. As always, we encourage you to do your own research. Enjoy the show. Good evening, Patriots. And welcome to another edition of Comfy Sunday. As always, I'm your host, RP. Joining me live in the studio is my co-host, M3, our special guest host, Whit Hat, and in the second hour of the program, my man, Bryson Gray, is going to be here. Just want to say welcome to all the Patriots from around the globe. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight on this comfy Sunday evening. Please, if you would, do me a favor, remember to like and share this broadcast. We are still demonetized. We need your help to break through the algorithm. Erica Sanford, congratulations on your car. Fred, I am slowing the chat one more time. Do me a favor, guys. Please, everyone, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Pretty much everyone right now could use a little cheering up. And what's a better way to do that than celebrating the 4th of July? It's always a great time for letting your hair down, celebrating our amazing country, and just enjoying yourself. But what if you could extend that 4th of July and make the rest of your life a celebration based on what you did this year? Sound far-fetched? Well, what if you could take your financial worries and just throw them out the window? What if you could take your money away from the risky stock market and into your own retirement account? Well, gold is up 16% so far this year, and the Dow is down by around 10%. And Noble Gold, of course, can help you celebrate this July in style. This right here is a rare America the Beautiful silver coin, and with any qualified gold IRA, you'll receive one of these coins for free. This is a $150 value, and it's a limited edition silver coin. You can see how beautiful it is. This is one of the most beautiful coins ever made in and for America, and you can get this for free. Just make sure you tell Noble Gold that Red Pill 78 sent you so you qualify for this free silver coin offer. This offer is only for July, so make sure you call right away and don't let this slip through your fingers. Just click the link below to visit noblegoldinvestments.com, or you can call them at 877-646-5347 and get the celebration started early. Again, the link is in the description and the pinned comment to visit noblegoldinvestments.com or call 877-646-5347. Make sure to tell them Red Pill 78 sent you so they know that supporting my channel is making a difference. When you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Thank you once again to Noble Gold for being a dedicated sponsor of the program. They have stuck with me month after month. You guys, I really appreciate it. If you call them, get your own Noble Gold IRA, receive your free $150 silver 5-ounce coin. It is beautiful. I've got it with my stack of silver in my other office. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to the program once again, my co-host Methods. What's up, Methods?
What's going on, Red Pill? I feel like we haven't done a live stream together in a year.
I know. It is a little bit strange.
Right, yeah. I got a bunch of messages saying, they miss us chatting, and I apologize for cheating on you and going on a few other shows during that time. But I'm glad you went on vacation. I'm glad that you got out and got, we're able to relax with everything going on here. But hey, what's up, chat? Hope everybody's doing good out there.
Yes. Also, please join me in welcoming our special guest co-host for the evening, the man of the hour of his own program now on YouTube. That would be Whit Hat Sombrero Blanco. Whit Hat, what's up, bro?
Hey, Red. How's it going? Hey, Methods. How y'all doing?
Excellent.
Awesome. Glad. Yeah, I have to say too, I'm glad you got away and got a recharge, man. It's definitely important, and we appreciate what you do. And hey, chat, love you guys.
Well, thanks, guys. I definitely appreciate it. It was sorely needed. I have now resigned myself to somehow moving near the beach. I was never that big of a fan of the beach when I was a kid. Maybe it's because I never went. I mean, we went to the lake and stuff, and the lake, it's always like a rocky shore. Sometimes we'd go to, beautiful, pristine white beaches at the lakes, but they're few and far between where I grew up. But there is just something about being on the ocean, being on the beach at the ocean, and, in that salty water floating around. It's rejuvenating. A friend of mine, when I was down there, said that the ocean water is super good for your skin. I can't really attest to that. I haven't spent all that much time in the ocean, but I know that Real Red Pill Girlfriend and I had a great time. It was definitely something... It was definitely something that we needed to do. We haven't been able to take like a proper vacation together ever, so it was really nice. I seriously enjoyed it, and I hope that someday I can move near the beach. It's a little bit cost prohibitive at this point, but always dare to dream. Dare to dream.
Right. Well, yeah, we're all happy that you went out there and took Real Red Pill Girlfriend with you, and it was surprising that she self-doxed herself on camera.
I was really surprised too.
Right. No, yeah, I should have screen capped your face when she said that, because it was pretty funny. But yeah, hey, shout out to her. Thank you for letting us have him back after that week, and we look forward to continuing with these shows.
Now, my mom is reminding me that we spent a month at Laguna Beach in California. Yes, Mom, I definitely remember, but I was very young, and it's different. It's not the same spending time as an adult. You're like... there are so many things I've forgotten from when I was a kid. There are some things that are like crystal clear that I will never forget, and then there are other things that it's just like I know that happened, but I don't have a real clear memory of it. I don't understand how it works. But like as an adult, you cement real lasting memories, and this is like I could just see myself as an old man sitting in a chair on the side of the ocean, with my feet in the water, and that's where I want to end up. Hopefully we'll see what happens.
I can totally get that. But yeah, Whit Hat, how have you been, man? How's everything going your direction? You're getting all famous now with that YouTube channel.
No, I'm not famous. Definitely. I tell you what, the amount of folks that have really rallied around me during this, kind of interesting time in my life has been just an absolute blessing with these children. And, people have kind of, I don't know, that's like they're in the journey with me, and we're taking, each day by day and telling each other what's going on. And, and it's been quite an interesting few weeks doing this channel. Of course, I jumped into it, didn't know what in the world I was doing. Luckily, you have great people out there like you guys. You got the Pink Patriot Hour, Lara, you got Keystone, and anybody that wants to do something like that, just reach out. And they're just and Hulk, don't let me miss out on them, but just reach out to them and they'll help you at a drop of a dime. It's been wonderful, and it's been a huge blessing.
Right. Well, since you mentioned it, why don't you let this audience here know what you're exactly doing with the, adopting, you're going down that road. Why don't you give a little quick rundown on what's been going on?
Sure. So I'm a father of 4, and we pretty much the situation was brought to me where there was a 13-year-old girl and an 11-year-old boy, and their mother had died in a car wreck. And I think this happened probably 3 years ago, and they had been separated, and they put them in different, children's homes and stuff like that. Well, I mean, I felt God, speak to me and that, hey, I needed to go, and foster these children. And so pretty much the battle has been trying to get them out of the system. It's, it has been an absolute just, hair pulling out situation trying to get them to my home, trying to get people to move. And unfortunately, a lot of the folks that were on my stream, I think Friday, heard about this. Well, the children were supposed to come to my house for the first time together at the same time for July 4th. And for different reasons, the girl got in trouble because she got into a fight, and then the boy couldn't leave because they shut everything down for a COVID. So they said they couldn't drive anything. Well, the girl tried to hurt herself. So she was put in the hospital. And so it's been just a very emotional ride. And, and she's out of the hospital now. And I've been talking to her every day. And, and one of the things on my channel is I have a little donation, counter where we're trying to get enough donations to fix an SUV. So I have a vehicle so I can tote them around and that sort of thing. And I have great news for everybody, and I'll announce it here on this channel. We've made that goal. And there's a lot of people I can thank, but a lot of them are in the chat now, and you know who you are. We've met that goal. And as of next weekend, looks like I'm going to have the vehicle. So I tell you, God is moving in our life, and it's just unbelievably awesome. And, I'm super stoked, and I'm glad I can be on here to tell you guys and to tell everybody. It's great news.
Dude, I just want to tell you, man, you've got one of the biggest hearts of anybody that I have met in this movement. And I've said it before, but I am so glad and I feel so blessed that we became friends and that we got a chance to meet, and that I'm witnessing you do this. It takes a big man, somebody with a lot of heart, with a lot of love, to adopt one child, okay, let alone a whole family of kids who have had the hand in life that they've been dealt. So, I know in the South, when you tell people, bless your heart, it's not always a good thing. But where I'm from, I really mean it. Bless your heart, dude. It is an incredible thing that you're doing. And, also, everything that you're doing on the channel, it's an incredible thing. And so I'm not surprised that the community is rallying around you to help you out. You deserve it. And the fact that you're going to be giving these kids a future is just really, really admirable. I love that about you.
Oh man, thank you so much. And I listen, dude, I would not be here if it wasn't for Red Pill and Methods, trailblazing the way. These guys, I became friends with these guys several years ago, and just everything has just evolved. And I really, really appreciate everything that you guys have done for me as well. You guys are an absolute blessing.
Well, thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, well, that's a lot of us here in this whole, experience that we've been in over the last few years. We have met people that we, didn't know even existed, and we're going to have friendships for life. I'm sure in the chat, give me a 1 out there if you met some people that are just the greatest people ever that you want to hold on to, for decades to come as friends. Give me 1 in the chat if you have met that. And, I'm not going to say press 2 if you don't, but you get my point. Just press 1 on that for me. Because we get to see a lot of that happen, where relationships, you told that story, Red Pill, about how you met Real Red Pill Girlfriend this past week. I know a lot of people didn't know that, but you met essentially through getting started as Red Pill 78.
Yeah.
And so she's been there from the beginning. And if you hadn't made that decision, it might just be you and those pets hanging out during the show.
Right.
It's just really cool. It's really cool to see this happen, because we see these relationships develop. And I guess I kind of get to, I have the privilege, because I end up a lot in tagged conversations. People tag me because they want me to see something, but then they continue the dialogue. And it's not stalking, it's sent to me in notifications, but I get to read and see these interactions happen. And over the years, I can really see friendships grow and they become something. And especially when people need prayers and stuff going on, how people quickly jump to it. I know we're going to talk about people waking up, especially the younger generation, because of that girl, the blue-haired girl that went viral. Right. That, and just seeing the outpouring of love going on there. Could you imagine finding, just like the ramen kid, like finding out that you're going viral on the internet. But especially going viral amongst, this community that we do have. Now, I did see something in the chat, Ripple. I don't know if you caught it, and I'm looking, I don't want to quote it wrong, but Dana Finkler put in the chat that,
baby.
Yeah, he found out he's going to have a kid.
Dana, Congrats, dude, and happy birthday. His birthday is coming up next month, and he is having a big shindig. Dana, I don't know if you want me to tell everybody where it's at, dude, but I will. I will tell everybody, and they can come. I'm actually going to be with my daughter. Her birthday is like very, very close to Dana's, and we made plans to take a trip together. But I'm sure that Dana would like it if everybody came. So congratulations, Dana. That is so cool, dude. Very, very happy for you. I'll tell you what, there is nothing more satisfying and more maturing for a man than to have a child, because once you have somebody else that you have to live for, absolutely everything in your life changes. And I'm looking forward to seeing you as a father, Dana. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah. And what a great birthday present.
Yeah.
Right. Now that's definitely cool. And that's going to, carry on the MAGA mentality, the being awake mentality into the next generation. That's the beauty of what's going on here, even though, like we've said before, that this is all still kind of in its infancy, even though we've kind of found our stride in what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the ripple effect of generations in the future, because everybody, they have children, they're going to raise them in the right way under this thing that's kind of away from the shadow and the gloom of what they create in society itself. All the things that we don't like the entertainment world and just being secular in general. Like that's the exciting part to me, is a lot of this work right now is going to touch, people's lives that aren't even born yet. And we might not even be alive to meet. But that to me is why a lot of the work that we all do is definitely worth it, because we're going to make sure this keeps going forward. So congrats to you, Dana. Exciting times. You've been not just a person that shows up in these chats all the time. You're a friend of this channel, so we're very excited for you.
Most definitely, dude. Very proud of you. Now, Leslie, I just want to say, you keep posting to Super Chat, use Subscribestar. If you want to join as a member, so that you support the channel on a monthly basis, that's Subscribestar or Patreon. But if you want a Super Chat, the alternative to use is the Cash App, because it gives me a notification. It's reliable. I will see what you posted with your donation, and then I can read it on the air. PayPal kind of does the same thing, but it is not reliable. It does not send me the notifications in the same way that Cash App does. So thank you, Leslie, for posting, but I just want to make sure everybody knows that if you want to send a Super Chat to have me read something on the air, then you got to send it on Cash App. That's really the only way to do it. And you will get $5 for joining the Cash App, and then it'll also donate $5 to me. On that note, I need to say thank you to Carmen. Carmen said, for all my favorites. I guess we are all her favorites. Lynn actually joined, it looks like, and she said, thank you for Brooks and Aaron on the 4th of July weekend. Those were great shows. And then also Margaret said, finally switched over from PayPal. Yay. Where we go on, we go all. I appreciate all you guys. Thomas also actually early this morning, very generous, sent me $100. Really appreciate that, brother. And then we had somebody, Judith. Hey Jude, I'm sorry. Hey Jude mentioned the thing with Wayfair. Now, this kind of was a crazy story, and it's one of those things that it looked like it dominated the news cycle while I was out of town. I only touched on it a little bit in my stream over the weekend on last night. There is still ongoing digging going on, and what really upsets me about it is that there is a lot of compelling evidence. There's a lot of things pointing to some really strange and perhaps illegal activity. And then you got people who are purposefully creating fictitious evidence and putting it out there. And I don't know if it's people who just want to get attention, or if it's people who are, attempting to make us look like fools. But this is one of those reasons, again, why Methods and I constantly harp on the idea of doing your due diligence. You've got to look into something before you start presenting it as fact. And, and I think that now this is more important than ever, because you brought up that girl who was, she got red-pilled. Well, it sounds like she got red-pilled in this last week. She's got the blue hair, and she was stating that she was not a Trump supporter. She is a registered Democrat. Until very recently, she was trolling President Trump's tweets on a daily basis. And then, I think, as a result of this Wayfair story, she realized that President Trump actually was going after human trafficking. Now, I've always said, this is the story. This is the one story that can unite the right and the left and help people see past that two-party fake paradigm. You know, I mean, we've got one party in Washington, D.C. That's the Uniparty. There are good people on the right, and there's some good people on the left. I gotta assume, law of averages, you know, there's bound to be a scattering of people across a sample. But, you know, President Trump ran as a Republican because he knew he could win, and the Republican Party foundations were closer to, you know, who he was and what his philosophies were. But I think the Republican Party has lost its way over the last couple of years. Do you guys think I'm out of line saying that? I mean, I feel like they have stated that they're for one thing, but they kept allowing the left to push the envelope. They did not really stand up for the conservative values that I believe are supposed to be the underpinnings of the Republican Party. What do you guys think of that?
Take it away, Whit Hat.
Yeah, so when you look at, I mean, I think everything you said is correct. And when you, in my opinion, and obviously this is my opinion, not the opinion of the federal government in any way, when you look at how they've just been vanilla, cowardly, looking the other way, making backdoor deals, doing all these things over the years, no wonder, you know, the left is so brazen.
Yeah.
You know, no wonder they get away with the things they get away with. No wonder you have so many, Trump haters on the right, and, you know, they keep getting, you know, exposed like they do. And we're just scratching our heads like, are you even on the same team? Like, what is wrong with you? Well, there's so much of it over the years that's gone on that, you know, it's about time somebody with some flex came in, and, you know, certainly we see it.
That's POTUS. You know, POTUS has that flex. He is not afraid to do what's in the best interest of the American public, and that's what I love about him. I honestly, if President Trump said he was a Democrat, but he still acted the way he does, I would probably be like, whatever, I don't care. He's doing what's right for the American public. That's what we need. We need politicians who are there to represent the people. And it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. As long as I've been alive, they have been self-serving. They have not done what was needed to make America a better place. President Trump was the first politician in my lifetime to come around and actually do something about it. I think Ron Paul, back in the day, had his heart in the right place, and he would have done that, but they wouldn't let Ron Paul get through. You know, and they did their hardest job that they could to try to keep President Trump out of there, too. This is a false dichotomy. There is no right and left. There are people like us who have different viewpoints, and then there are politicians who use our, you know, dissenting points of view to create wedges and drive them in between different sides of the American public. But they have really destroyed the left. The people on the left are so brainwashed. And I'm so glad to see in the chat that the people who are here, you know, they can agree with me. They can agree with me. The only reason I call myself a Republican is because it's the only thing we have that's not a Democrat. Okay? If President Trump was to come out and say, you know what, I am no longer a Republican, I am going to be a Trumplican, I'm starting a new party, I would march wholeheartedly behind President Trump and I would join his new party. I think we need something like that. I think we need something to actually give an option, you know, some other option to the American public, because right now the Democrats and the Republicans are not doing it. President Trump himself is the only thing that's doing it. Now, I think that his actions are actively swaying the movements of the Republican Party. People on the left and the right are seeing what President Trump is doing. We've had leftists, we've had Democrats, that's the left. We've had people on the left switch to become Republicans, all right? And we've had Republicans who were rhinos, who were never really Republicans or conservative or cared about America or Americans. They have switched over to the left. John Kasich comes to mind. He is absolutely a traitor in my mind. But, you know, President Trump has been the only one that's doing it. And now with this story that's coming out and people realizing that human trafficking is an actual thing. More children go missing every year than have ever died from CV-19. More children go missing every year and are never found and are subjected to terrible things. And We don't have the press talking about that. Why isn't the press, why aren't the Republicans, why aren't the Democrats worried about all the kids that go missing every year? Well, I have a pretty good idea why. Because they are essentially used as a commercial property, okay? They are currency in the world of the swamp, and people are starting to realize it. You got people on the right who have been talking about it for months, for years, for decades. And now you have people on the left who are finally waking up from their fake news fog and who are realizing that, yes, this is an issue. This is probably the biggest issue that we've got in the world today, let alone America. And they're realizing that President Trump is the only one who's ever done anything about it. This could be a watershed moment in American history. And I think that's so important.
I totally agree with all that. And just on this whole thing about, Republican, Democrat, it does kind of feel weird to say, I'm a Republican, because we have paid attention, and they have at the very least, we're useful idiots and allowed things to go on, and probably getting kickbacks, this whole two-party system's dying. But the beautiful thing I see happening in this is that we see a lot of these people that are, quote unquote, waking up, and they say, I voted Democrat my whole life. And it's not, the next line isn't typically, I'm now going to vote Republican. It's like, no, I'm going to vote for Trump. And that takes out that whole two-party thing, because we remember Trump didn't even, he second-guessed even running on the Republican ticket in 2016. So it's a very interesting thing to me. Now, as far as this whole Wayfair thing, I've been saving this comment from M169, says Wayfair is waking up a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And I totally agree with that. And, we can have a conversation about, there is information. A lot of it can be speculation. There's also people creating fake stuff, whether it's for clicks or they just want to cause problems, or they're, paid shills, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. There is that overthink. But I can appreciate that we are having a discussion with a lot of people that typically wouldn't, because we're talking about kids and kids having things done to them. And it is something that you're planting the seed by saying, at the very least, doesn't this seem odd? Mm-hmm. And then you put that seed and it helps wake them up. I can agree with that. But I have to be honest with this. Like, this situation has probably been one of the hardest things for me to develop an opinion on how I want to handle covering it. Because I had a lot of people asking, hey, you haven't said anything about this. You've been silent. Well, one, it's a lot going on in real time. I'm trying to figure out what's real and what's not. We know videos can be doctored. We know I'm not the one doing it. When I see these screen caps, I don't know where they came from, but I'm looking at the outcome of it, and it is getting people to talk, so I can respect it as much. But one thing I do want to touch on here, the elephant in the room that I'm seeing around this Wayfair thing in particular, and I'm not the majority of people that have been involved in this have handled it quite well. They're just digging, speculating, handling it the right way. But we have seen this dialogue of, well, if you aren't going to talk about it, or if you question anything that's being researched by Wayfair, then you're protecting this kind of activity. Or, I don't trust your account anymore, I'm going to unfollow you. And that, to me, was probably because I wanted to come at it yesterday morning with fresh eyes. I want to say, all right, let me look at all the information out there. And that takes reading through the replies on some of these things. And I just fell down this rabbit hole, and I had to remind myself I wasn't reading like leftist Twitter at times on like attacks, because it was like, why can't we speculate? What's wrong with saying, what if this is all a psyop? What's wrong with asking those questions? We should. And if somebody, especially if they built up a platform and they do that, I try to respect that and say, all right, well, it's good to speculate the other direction. That's what we should be doing. So I don't want to really, police everybody, because I'm kind of talking about not policing people, do what you do. But to me, we should always question everything in every direction, even when, like what Red Pill said, there's a lot of evidence there that points to some nefarious stuff. But if other people are wanting to question it in a different direction, at least try to respect their opinion. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and this goes back to what I said. I mean, I say this all the time. We have lived under this like cancel culture blanket for so long. And I think that for so many people out there, they are still like inside that culture, and they don't even realize it. People are so quick to lash out and cancel and say, I no longer trust you, I no longer believe anything you say, just because somebody says something that they don't necessarily agree with. I mean, this is supposed to be America. People are supposed to be able to be honest and give their opinion, without being attacked, without being treated as if, they're talking to a leftist. The hallmark of our community should be that we're able to have a conversation with each other. This is missing from American culture, American life now. People are just too quick to attack, to go after. I want people to have different opinions, and if somebody puts out a bit of a speculation or digging, and somebody else disagrees with it, just have a conversation about it. I mean, maybe you'll change their mind, maybe they'll change your mind, but it doesn't mean that they're a shill automatically. And the problem with this is that there are so many shills out there. It's almost impossible to distinguish between real peace-loving, anons and paid shills who are pretending to be MAGA people or Q people. I just blocked a couple people today who they had, Punisher skulls for their avatars. They had like the right hashtags, hashtag QAnon, hashtag MAGA, Trump 2020 in their description. But then you go and look at what they're posting and they're retweeting, and they're posing as MAGA people so that they can get you to follow them, and then they can get into your feed, and then they can report you, or they can post negative things about other people, and then make people who, maybe they thought they could trust you. Well, now, what you've done is you followed somebody who is looking to control you and who's running a psyop on you. And, it is difficult, man. It is hard to tell. So, I mean, you got to be careful. You got to, always be careful who you follow. But I default to treating people with respect. I do my research on somebody before I decide whether or not they are a shill or not. And unfortunately, it is difficult to do now.
Yeah, and if I may, I'm going to back up just a little bit. So coming from a Govy standpoint, and Methods and Red Pill know this firsthand, I'm going to let you guys know something here. There is more than likely some of those spots on Amazon, Wayfair, and whatnot that are honeypots.
Yeah. Okay,
we set up some of those things on purpose online to try to get bad guys to make purchases. Now, I can't go into everything that we're in and how we do it and how do we, do what we do. But, and it's great that people are trying to expose things and they're, just worried about the children. And I'm happy about that. Mm-hmm. But do know that if you see something that doesn't look right, it may or may not always be the bad guys.
That's a great point, dude. I actually was thinking about that the other day. And it makes me wonder, how much of these things that we're seeing are set up by bad guys and how much of this stuff are going to be set up as good guys. Grandpa C is definitely not a shill. Grandpa C is not a shill.
I don't think Grandpa C is a shill for sure.
Grandpa C, you're an OG, brother. You've been here for a long time.
Well, I'll go ahead and say kind of what we're talking about. And so back in the beginning of a lot of this COVID crap, and I don't mind telling people now because it's, long gone, but there was a situation where people were trying to sell COVID specimens, and, not all of that was, ended up being bad guys or good guys. There's a little bit of both of that on the dark web. There's a little bit of both of that on different things. So you have to really, I'm all about people raising hell on Twitter about this sort of thing, but definitely know that, the good guys are out there kicking backside. Well, can I say ass on here?
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
So, we're out here doing our thing, and we do this 24/7. So, we definitely, and I say we because Anons, everyone in this movement, we moved the needle. I mean, the company had to come out with a comment. I mean, that's great, but we do not eat our own. there's a side that does that. We don't do that. We don't eat our own and go after our own. We are supposed to have a different opinion. We're supposed to be able to debate each other. And if we can't do that, then we're no better than the left side.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I harp on it, because I don't want us to become the left. I want to say hello to Cisco Lady Liberty. Haven't seen you here for a minute, Cisco. Maybe I've just missed you in the chat, but it's good to see you here. Also, we've had somebody else. Rich Wells, I've never met a controlling person or group that told me to think for myself or to trust myself. Interesting. That's right. That's how you can tell that the way that they characterize this movement as like a cult or, some type of dangerous thing. Nobody is telling you that you have to do one thing or the other. Everybody is telling you to think for yourself. We're telling you to go do the research. We're telling you to prove it and to not take our word for it. Somebody keeps telling me to interview somebody, and I don't know the person's name. Charles Ward. Interview Charles Ward, please. Baraby1. I don't know who Charles Ward is, Barbie, but if you can email me and send me their information, I'll be happy to look into it. MM says, I've been classified as a shill because my account was created in June. Never had a social media account until last month. It cuts both ways. It does. And this is something, man, I have seen this on Twitter. People saying that because you're a new account, you're a shill. Because you're a big account, you're a shill. Honestly, Eminem, I feel like that logic is is major fallacy. Okay, you can't classify someone as a shill because of when their account was created. Doesn't make any sense. Not everybody on Twitter has been there since 2006. Okay, has been there since 2012. There are plenty of people who are new eyes on this movement. I've seen a lot of polls on Twitter recently asking when people started following this movement. And I would say that almost a majority of the people only got on board with this movement since the whole COVID thing started. There's a lot of new eyes here. There are so many new people. Methods and I were talking. I just hit 100,000 followers on Twitter, and 40,000 of those followers have been in the last month, maybe the last two. I continue to get daily new subscribers on YouTube. I'm up to like 239,000 now. That is not as fast as the growth was at the very beginning, but I'm being stifled now. New eyes are getting to us here, and there are so many new people. Methods, you're about to hit 200,000, aren't you?
Yeah, something like that. But it is what it is. Like, we have to have it in the back of our heads that we don't know who we're talking to. If it's a newly created account, we don't really know, because we have seen people create new accounts and then abuse it or make claims that don't, we have that happen too. So the whole discernment thing, I always resort back to not saying really anything, because it can go in so many different directions. If I wanted to, add to my regimen of I'm going to debate every major thing that gets put out amongst known names or things that happen in this community, I would be doing that all day, and then I would be labeled that I'm infighting, and that I don't want to do that. To me, I want people to research and decide for themselves. And if anybody makes claims, then second guess, do the own research if you are interested in it. And that to me is the best way to go about it. We need to be free. It needs to be organized chaos, because there's no other way. And going around and saying, we need to do this, we need to do that. I can appreciate people saying that. I'm not trying to dog them, but to me, people need to be able to do whatever they want to with their own platforms in itself. Now, 2 comments I see out here. One, Justin Bosman says Ann Coulter has lost it. I don't know what happened, but
I don't think gone for a while.
I was going to say, I don't think she ever had it. But if something happened, I'll look into it later, because it's always entertaining. And then Stella Wright out there says, happy 70th birthday to me. So Stella, happy birthday to you. If anybody in the chat will say happy birthday, it's pretty cool. Like, when we bring up a birthday or something, we'll see like 5 or 6 or 7 other people, and they're like, oh, it's also my birthday. This whole community is so big that it's going to happen that way. But happy birthday out to you, Stella.
Also somebody who was it? Somebody said that the Q movement seems like a popularity contest. I mean, I personally don't look at it that way. I mean, like when I said how many followers I have, I'm not out there like trying to get followers. If people want to follow me, then that's great. What I'm interested in is getting good information to as many people as possible. But you have to know that there are going to be people in every group whose sole mission it is to get people to follow them. You know, I was just as happy when I had 150 followers and, you know, and people were looking at what I was putting out. And I was shocked when people started following me and, you know, wanted to hear what I had to say. It's not about trying to be popular. It's not about trying to be famous. And I think that the people who are trying to do that, like I never get on trains. I never, you know, get hung up on making sure that I'm following like this person or that person. If I see somebody putting out good information, I follow them so that I can continue to find that information. But, you know, I don't think that it's unique to this movement. That's my point. I mean, there are always going to be people out there who want to get the validation of feeling like people like them, people care about them, and they're going to get that because of the number of followers that they get. And that, I think, is, you know, something that is new because of social media. I remember Facebook. When Facebook was huge. I remember MySpace. I remember Friendster. You guys remember Friendster?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. But I remember people like in the real world talking about how many friends they had. And I was, you know, I remember thinking at the time, you know, how many of those people do you know? You know, how many people are, yes, okay. And Neo says, I hate the term followers. I follow Jesus. I watch Red Pill 78 and I read Q posts. And you're totally right. You know, I'm only using that term because that's the term on Twitter. And that's the subject of the rant that I was on.
Well, no, I mean, you brought it up anyways, just in the context of how the numbers are growing, how there's new eyes.
Yeah.
So no, it's not bragging. I mean, but it's a part of the whole construct of it because social media was built to have that dopamine and chase to be, you know, that the intention was to be that popular, right? That's what they wanted to have that, because then it becomes a rat race. Once again, dividing people based on all this stuff. So anytime we mention numbers and all that, that's more of a testament of how all the hard work that everybody's doing, you're bringing in new eyes. And we thank everybody who tags us and said, you should follow this person or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, White Hat, what do you think about all that?
Well, for me, coming from someone that's, I'm 8,000. I'm not exactly where y'all boys at. I'm on the outside, but coming from the outside, looking in a sense, for me, it's like, the ones that are putting out the good content that we really need and that we really want to see will naturally grow leaps and bounds. And to me, that reflects, the great work that you guys have done. Getting the correct information out, getting things.
White Hat, we lost you, buddy. I can't hear you. You guys, and I'm grooming. I have a sunburn.
Yeah, somebody already figured it out there. But yeah, hopefully White Hat will find his way back. Now, I'm also seeing out here in the chat, first off, that comment, whoever said it out there that said Ann Coulter looks like a White Walker is hilarious. I just had to bring it up. But
don't touch the baby. Don't touch the baby.
Right. But Victoria Gates is out there in the chat. Good to see you here. She's been on the show before, but I think she's saying that her third account was now taken down again.
Yeah.
If that's the case, methods at protonmail.com. Hit me up, Victoria, whatever we got to do to help people find you again. We definitely will on that. Now, I guess he just full-blown dropped out, huh?
Yeah, looks like he did. Dragonfly 520, I'm going to tell you, we've talked about that organization on the show before. There's nothing new about them right now as far as I know, unless maybe we're going to discuss stuff with Ghislaine. But I have to be perfectly honest, that is one of those hot button issues that will get you immediately dogpiled on and immediately censored by this platform, probably because they run everything behind the scenes. But let me give a couple of quick thank yous. My buddy Dave, thank you very much. 1776 said, check your Proton. I saw your video that you sent me yesterday. He was at the shooting range and sent me video of him hitting a metal target, and it looked like you shot the rifle, it hit, and then there was like a echo or something like that. I couldn't quite tell what was going on. Maybe it was somebody else that was there with you. Also, Gaffer Anon, he says, I got Twitter canned, started over in June. That's right. Gaffer Anon, good friend of the program, he had an old account. He got his account suspended. He had to start over. So, perfect example of not a shill. Also, I got a bonus for inviting my buddy 1776. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you joining up. Also, hey Jude, The Simpsons predicted Ivanka 2028. How insane would that be? Steel target. Yep, a steel target. Yes, I am very sunburned, but it's not so bad. It's mostly just itchy right now. What do you think, Methods? Do you think that Ivanka has what it takes to be president? I mean, I don't feel like I know enough about her, and I have to say, she is clearly to the left of her father. I'm a little nervous about Ivanka taking over the Trump dynasty.
I'm there with you on that. I don't know a whole lot about her. I mean, I can respect it because, I mean, if it's going to be the same platform that her father's done, but I mean, we already try to wrap our heads around what happens after Trump's second term,
right?
And we'll speak it into existence and saying it's going to happen in this case. I don't know how, we can really wrap our heads around somebody. I mean, to me, a Flynn obviously would keep the ball rolling and all that. But as far as Ivanka, I would have to see how it plays out and who's she running with.
Yeah.
But that's a total different world going there forward. Now we got Whit Hat back in here. Hey, buddy.
What up?
Good Lord Almighty.
Before you get back to your point, let me just say thank you to Eric. He says, that's for freedom. Appreciate you there, Eric. And then also, hey, Jude, again, did you get the Space Force polo? Yes, I've worn it on the show, and I've thanked you on the show. Hey, Jude, thank you so much for the Space Force polo. I also took it with me to Atlantic City. All right, let's get back to where you were at, Whit Hat.
I don't even remember. I was mesmerized. I was mesmerized by that stinking thing you keep rubbing on your face. I don't know what's going on here.
It's a real gift. Okay, it's a real gift. I also want to say thank you to Joel. Joel is going to be making me a custom blazer. So Joel, I know I got to get a hold of you, buddy, and I will be doing that tomorrow. So thank you very much for reminding me. But I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, you guys have seen me wear some blazers on some special occasion shows before, so I'm looking forward to wearing a new one.
Yeah, we have for sure. Well, Whit Hat, if you don't remember what exactly you were talking about in that moment with the time that we've got left, I would like to talk more about your channel because, like I've said here before and all that, I've still, grinned to myself that you were doing a live show because a lot of people don't know. We talked to you for a very long time before people even knew who you were publicly, besides being a guest once or twice, I think, on Red Pill's channel. Mm-hmm. And this was never coming. This wasn't happening. We brought it up before, and you would laugh at us. And then now we are promoting your show on our show, which I'm dropping, once again, his YouTube link in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe, catch him. He typically does shows before Red Pill's lives. But what's the future of Whit Hat YouTube? What are you planning on doing?
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I think I trolled Discord and all these other places without telling anyone who I was for a long time, and then finally come out and I'm like, there is no way. I didn't even want to have a Twitter page. So, now here we are, and God definitely works in mysterious ways, and he opens doors, and I'm walking through there, and I love praying for people on my channel, and I say the sinner's prayer on there for people in case they want to be saved and that sort of thing. But I really love to just chat with the folks that are in the chat and that sort of thing. But here soon, I think I'm going to do some different type of shows. I think I'm going to talk about the daily stuff, but every once in a while, I was actually thinking about going into. I did a health and nutrition diet type show with Keystone. And we literally talked for 2 hours about it, and we may do that every once in a while together. And I think I was gonna probably hit up Pink Patriot Hour about it possibly, but I'm thinking about going in a little different direction here and there, just to add a little bit more flavor, maybe talk about food, or maybe talk about, diet, or, different things like that. The good thing is because it's my channel. I mean, obviously I can think and do whatever I want. And certainly I lend, I have an ear out to you guys and to the people in the chat. Anything that anybody really wants to talk about, I'm open to. And now that I'm rolling, it's pretty easy to, get going at this point. But I think the next time I go live will be tomorrow night. Maybe once everybody's not going live, I try to go around people's schedules and that sort of thing here and there. But yeah, I appreciate the kind words, man. You're spot on though, dude. I really did not plan on doing any of this, but when God opens the door, I mean, you don't shut it back on his face. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, no, we definitely could see that, you doing this kind of thing, and because you pay attention to the same stuff we do, you'll drop information. You have a different insight that we all don't get to have as us peasants, or civilians out here that are not working for the government. But I like that you're doing this, and it's been a lot of fun to watch like your public platform grow. And I'm definitely excited for you on that. And to that point of doing other things, to me, I kind of see that every once in a while get frowned upon because it's covering the news. People want to cover that, and I appreciate that. That's been the whole staple of all the work we've been doing. But since Trump got elected, this is a new world. And we're all finding our voices and finding our platforms. There's other things that we're into. And of course, people have their own things they're into. How many people listen to, let's say, Occam's Razor, and they're working in their garden, or they're fishing, or any of those kind of things? I hear it all the time, that to have people that people recognize, or even if people out there want to start your own channel and you are a patriot, but you're also going to do different kinds of shows. That to me, is what we need to have, because we can respect the person doing it. We trust them. That's the big difference on all these other. We don't trust these people that have been the staple of mainstream media, or a lot of these shows and stuff that we see on TV in general. So I fully support anybody wanting to do a red pill cooking channel, and go nuts with it, because I think we need to have that kind of future.
I completely agree. I mean, I think that all of you out there who want to start a channel should go ahead and get into it. Once again, it's all about getting as many eyes on the information as possible, and just current events are not the only thing that we have to offer. I know that there are people out there who want to know about nutrition. I know there are people out there who want to know about any number of niche subjects, and that they would much rather watch someone that they know is a patriot. They want to watch somebody, and they want to support somebody that they know holds similar values as they do. And as many people who are out there who want to get started, who want to, show their talents and their skills, and have some things that they think that people might want to hear, definitely go for it. Go get into it, And Whit Hat, I love the idea of you branching out and doing a variety of different things on the channel. It's like, it's the same thing that I felt like I wanted to do here. I wanted to have a number of different types of shows, because I know there's going to be an audience for one thing, and there's going to be an audience for another thing. And I guess other people maybe start different channels, but I mean, the amount of time that I have that I put into the channel, I felt like I just wanted to do it all in the same place. In the future, maybe once I get my website up and running, then we can all post stuff on there. We can have like a network of like-minded patriots who are putting out different types of content. And I would love to post other people's stuff on my website, and then everybody can go there and then check it out. I know that there are plenty of people doing stuff like that. But if I can help with my platform to catapult other people and get more eyes on them, I'm happy to do that. I feel like that's what we always try to do, Methods.
Right. And I see a lot of people asking about that, like, where can we find everybody's schedules and stuff? So those kind of things are being worked on. to where we can have, various hubs where you can click links and, go to other people that you like watching. You don't just want to keep up on their schedules and stuff, but you have people like Whit Hat, starting their channel. We've got ones that we're seeing that are doing well. Pink Patriot Hour, I've been catching them randomly, just lurking and stuff, and I appreciate what those ladies are doing over there. Might be possibly inviting them on the show sometime here soon, but we need to have that kind of network in itself. But I like, once again, the chaos that's going on, and we get to, kind of just find our own way. But, not everybody's got that kind of time. Just real quick, we have just under 5,000 people here hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We do have a second hour here. We've got Bryson Gray coming up here in just a minute. 2,000 likes. If you guys don't mind clicking that like button, that would be great. And thank you guys for PayPal, Cash App donations. We really appreciate it.
Also, I need to give a couple of quick thank yous from PayPal. Our Cloaked Unseen World, again, he's got a really interesting channel. You guys go ahead and check that out. I think it's a great thing to do. Lots of stuff on Nikola Tesla. Emily, she said, glad you're back and on fire. Lots of love. Gary from yesterday. Thank you, Gary. James from yesterday. We've been lied to all our lives. I wish everyone wanted to know that. Yeah, it's a difficult pill to swallow. Maybe that's part of the lesson. At some point, everyone will take notice. God is truth, and trusting in him will be easier, essential. We should help to be ready at that time, enjoying you sharing and exploring the wild, wild world that we live in. Thank you very much, James. I appreciate that, buddy. Also, Veronica, thank you, Veronica. I appreciate that. Helen said, hope you had fun in Atlantic City. Go to the ocean. We definitely did. Mark, appreciate you, Mark. Jeff George said, police in the Netherlands found that those cargo trailers. Man, that was something that happened while I was gone. That was insane. I touched on that a little bit on the stream on Wednesday I did. I really want to hear a follow-up on that. Have you guys, either of you, heard anything about that since that came up?
No, actually, for me, I would probably refer to Keystone, since she's actually in Amsterdam.
That's right.
So that may be something that she can dig on and give to us. And I don't mean to digress, but someone was asking if I have a PayPal. Jojo, our great moderator in there, was asking me, the streamlabs.com/Whit Hat 3, that is my PayPal. So when you use that link, when they do that, that's the PayPal. Anyway, I think I would defer to Keystone, and because she's saying in the chat that she hasn't heard, but she's going to dig on it for us, and then
all right.
she'll shoot us the info.
All right. Well, I mean, Keystone, or just call in this next weekend. We can talk about it. Also, Michael sent that while I was in AC. Michael Kenny asked if I was down to go to Six Flags. Sorry, buddy. That wouldn't have been possible. Mark, thank you for that. Veronica, thank you for that. Buzz Jewelry today, and then also Wickedly Wired Wearable Art said, in it from the beginning, not going anywhere. You were 20 minutes from me in AC. Next time I can bring some. Next time I can bring you sunblock. So much love, Patriots. We got this. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, it's Cisco Lady Liberty. Cisco. Okay, awesome. That's great. Appreciate you. Also, Brandon said thanks for all the work you do. Dana, Judith. This all of a sudden I'm getting notifications from 9 days ago that I've never seen before. Dennis said, Red Pill, this is great. Watching all our friends here on your channel. Appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, that we talked about Lauren Boebert already. All right, so I don't know why I'm getting all these old notifications, but thank you to everybody who has supported the channel, you guys. We really appreciate it. It does a lot. It allows us to keep going, and obviously to keep the lights on. I want to do something different here in the studio. I want to try to set up like an actual studio, like maybe like have a chair where I sit down with like a camera, and then I can like have people here to talk. Like, how cool would that be? I don't know. That's a stretch goal. That's for the future, but we'll see what happens. Also, you guys, please, if you haven't yet, consider liking and sharing the broadcast. We're about to be bringing Bryson Gray in here. Bryson is an incredible patriot. He's been shared by the president. He's the inventor of the MAGA Hat Challenge, and he just put out a new album. And didn't he call out Snoop Dogg directly?
Yeah, no, the video was great. I know a lot of people saw it. But yeah, just real quick before we bring Bryson in, Whit Hat, you want to have anything else to say before we let you go?
Yeah, sure. I would love to leave on this point. I want everyone tonight, when you say your prayers, please think about all these babies and all these people that are being affected by all of this. There's been a lot of children being killed, a lot of people being murdered for, saying all lives matters. And,
I just saw that a mother of 3, wasn't it?
yeah. It's just, it happened like last week. Method, you said something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, just please, prayer is powerful in my opinion. So if you guys could just keep, the president in your prayer, keep these babies in your prayers. I really believe that soon we're gonna see the light of day through all this, and just keep supporting all of these great content providers. We really do work hard to stay on top of this for you guys, and we're not going to quit. We're going to keep going, and thank you guys for having me on. I missed you guys.
I missed you too, bud, for sure. And I just dropped his Twitter out there for anybody that wants it.
Right on. Yeah, I'm glad to be back, man. It's glad to have you on the show again. And when you do decide to have people on your show, I would be honored to be a guest.
Oh man, you know what? It's funny. I do computers for a dang living, but I'm having the hardest dang time figuring it out. So I'm gonna have to make it happen. I just got good at doing it by myself. So
yeah.
I'll be live tomorrow night, you guys, if y'all want to hang out. And I think the first guest I've got to have are y'all too. I think it would be a sin not to be quite honest with you.
It would be very fitting. I would absolutely be honored. So you just let me know what's good.
Yeah, man, have your people contact our people.
But wait
I don't have people.
Wait a minute, I was going to say I am your people. What are you
talking about?
are
our people. You make the appointment and just send us a DM.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, so yeah, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys really enjoy Bryson. He's doing some really great stuff. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow night, and I'm going to dip out and go have some sushi and spend time with these babies.
All right, brother.
Thanks for
having a great night. Bud. Good to see you.
All right, y'all too.
Peace, White Hat. Sombrero Blanco. All right, we're going to bring in our next guest for the evening. That would be Mr. Bryson Gray at Real Bryson Gray on Twitter. Bryson looks like he is not quite back yet. So I just want to show... Oh, there he is! The man himself.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Bryson? How you doing, brother?
I am doing amazing. How about yourself?
I can't complain, man. I just got back from the beach. I am rested and refreshed. Good stuff.
How was the beach?
It was good, dude. It was good. We went to Atlantic City. It was my first time in New Jersey. I had, we had to drive someplace because we had, 4 people. So, obviously there's only so much you can do with 4 people, So had to drive there. And, and it was the beach. Honestly, it was the beach. That's all we wanted. We wanted someplace where we could sit on the ocean, on the shores. It was a beautiful weather. Wasn't too humid. I got a little bit burnt. I've got my back scratcher, though, so I'm taking care of that. But, yeah, Real Red Pill Girlfriend and I, we had a great time. We stayed at this place called the Ocean Resort, something like that, honey. You'll have to remind me what it was called. But, yeah, it was nice, I'll tell you what, it was weird. We were the only people not wearing masks when we got there. Hundreds and hundreds of people checking into the hotel, all of them judging us. Just straight judging. You could see it in their eyes. There was this one old dude. He was an older, liberal-looking man. Looked like a professor or something like that. And every time he walked by, he was just staring at me over the top of his, disposable PPE or whatever they're called. And he was not happy with us. And plus I was wearing a Trump jacket too.
Oh, Lord.
That might have had something to do with it.
I had a similar experience on a plane. I actually had to get video of it. This lady was beside me and this guy, and I didn't know this, but when it's thunderstorming and it's lightning, they won't let you leave the plane unless it goes 15 minutes without lightning.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we landed, and I took off my mask. I'm not because he wear this mask. It's a full jam-packed plane full of people, neck to neck. If you go get COVID, you gonna get it. and this girl actually said, because me and the guy beside it, we took our mask off, but she was like, y'all need to put your mask on right now. Like right now, y'all need to put your mask back on. And long story short, she said, or else we're calling the the flight attendant. And I said, okay. I said, call the flight attendant. And then the flight attendant came. As soon as she started talking, he rolled his eyes. And then he's like, man, dude, can you please put on masks? If you don't, then we're gonna have to call the captain. And I said, look, you seem like you stressed out. You seem like a nice guy, so I'm probably put it on. I said, before I do that, though, I do have a question. I said, we already landed. What would happen if you called the captain? Like, just honest, a genuine question. What could possibly happen? Like, y'all can't let us off the plane. What's gonna happen? He literally looked at me and said, dude, I don't know.
Nothing. That's what's gonna happen. Nothing.
And then just to be a douchebag afterwards, because that girl kept like staring at us, I took out my water. You know, it's like a water this size, and you know you can't tell anybody put their mask on if they're eating and drinking. Yes, sir. So just to know that it took me 25 minutes to finish a water that was like right there, and she was so annoyed. I was doing the slowest sips.
That's beautiful, dude. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, here's the thing is that those people like getting angry with you for not wearing a mask or, you know, following the accepted guidelines, they know nothing about you. Okay. You could have a medical condition or something that stops you from being able to, you know. Our real red pill girlfriend was like, just tell him you got asthma, you know. But nobody said anything when we got there. Once we left our room, and started walking around trying to get dinner and stuff like that, then the guards were right on top of us. I was actually really surprised. They would not let us move around without our masks on. It was kind of annoying, pretty annoying actually.
I don't know, man. This is not making sense. The people are looking like zombies. It's like the media says one thing and it's literally coming out of their mouths. When the media was saying you shouldn't wear masks, people weren't worried about it. The media says you need to wear masks. And I saw an article that said you might want to consider wearing a mask at home. Like, what?
At home?
Yes. I read an article that said that, and people are actually listening to it. And I was like, I also found out they said in California you can't sing in church.
Why can't you sing in church?
Hey,
what kind of madness is that?
Hey, man, I have no clue.
Hey, it's the war on God. They don't like us Christian people.
That's exactly it.
Because I mean, the faith alone in Christianity is that God will protect us even when it comes to a pandemic. You know, we put those, so they can't be having that kind of narrative out there. But I have heard that there was talk there. I can't remember which state. Maybe the chat can help me. That if you're a repeat offender of not wearing a mask after the fines, they're looking at giving people up to a year in jail.
Going to jail for not wearing a mask? Yeah. Oh, it's up there with a 99% survival rate?
Yep.
It's insane.
The face you just made, Bryson, was the face I had when I read it. It's absolutely gone that far. It is tyrannical. Like, we have this whole thing where they just told us a few months ago. I just saw an Eric Swalwell tweet saying, don't wear a mask from March. And then now, you know, if you don't wear it, you know, then you're trying to kill everybody. You know, you are a terrorist. So to me, it's a big mess.
I just want to know what's next, because this is honestly crazy. Anybody with a half a brain cell can understand this is insanity. Like, this is literally crazy. And there have been doctors coming out to say, like, yeah, this is nonsense also. Listen.
You know, it's incredible to me, the stranglehold that the U.S. mainstream media still has on people's minds. You know, I mean, everybody is just going along with it. There's like nothing you can do. So I wore just the craziest mask that I could while we were in Atlantic City. I've showed it on the show here before. It's a giant kitten with lasers shooting out of its paws, and there are people running on the beach. You know, so... Yeah, somebody says blow vape through your mask. Yeah, it comes right out. Okay, you know, and I mean, like, even if there was some level of scientific proof to show that by wearing a mask you're going to get fewer people sick, what about all the scientific proof that wearing a mask is more likely to make you sick? You're going to get CV-19-like symptoms from wearing this mask and breathing in your own CO2, lowering your oxygen levels, all of those things that are supposed to be emitted from your body. And then what about our immune systems? Okay, you know, people being protected from germs all the time. I mean, constantly rubbing their hands with rubbing alcohol. You know, no, I'm going to go take a handful of dirt, I'm going to eat it, and I'm not going to get sick. But meanwhile, all these other people, they're getting sick. They're going to get worse and worse. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what I find very crazy because we're definitely making our immune systems weaker.
Mhm.
Like after all this is over, people might start having to go to the hospital for like a cold or something. The way this is going, because people are actually psycho about this stuff. My mom is psycho about this stuff, and it's like, but all they do, listen, they have CNN in one room and MSNBC in the other one.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised.
So how's everything going with your dad, man? Because I saw you did a debate with your dad. How did that go?
Oh, arguing with my daddy is always hilarious, and it happens very often, even when it's not on social media or not being recorded. It's just we do it all the time, every single day. Actually, I see him, especially for the last week. He's been helping me with getting these orders out. But yeah, so the usual. He's a crazy liberal.
I'm turning up your audio. It's a little bit quiet, so let me go. Methods, will you give me a test on your audio now?
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Okay, all right. Now we've got you both up there now. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Well,
right,
so tell us about the new album, man.
Oh yeah, it is called MAGA Season. Season is spelled SZN. It's an album about patriotism. It's about this country. It's about God because I believe in God, and it's about just conservative values. You know what I'm saying? Period. Point blank. And the album was #1 all week last week for on Amazon album on the rap album charts. It was #1, and then on iTunes rap album charts it got up to #3. I think it's still #2 on Amazon rap charts, and it's still in the top 5 on iTunes rap charts. And Billboard emailed me and said it could possibly make the Billboard charts tomorrow. And if that happens, that'd be insane because my whole goal is to basically go into the field that I'm familiar with and battle and basically combat the evilness in it. And rap music is just evil, simply put. If you go look at the top 10 rap songs, it's all evilness. So I'm trying to combat that, and having a MAGA Season album on the Billboard charts would help. But I'll find out tomorrow when I wake up.
Well, their brains have got to be exploding.
Right. Yeah, because that's got to be great on your resume and definitely piss off a lot of people that have been attacking you, because we were talking about it off air. And anytime you do something that takes off, like, you just get ravaged by people.
Oh, yeah.
Calling you every name you can imagine and all that stuff. And it's funny, and you've made these points before, that anytime you get called something and what they're calling you is a racist statement, it comes from Democrats that are mad at you for supporting this president. Now, I am dropping in the chat for everybody. Bryson has a tweet out that's got all the links to where you could buy his album. I suggested, even if you're not into the music, we also talked about this earlier, is that we see a lot of, I'm not into rap, but I really enjoy this music. So even if that's not your style of music, listen to the lyrics. He's very clear with what he says when he does it. That's part of his great talent. Mm-hmm. Listen to what he's saying and think about how it's exactly supporting everything that I know this audience believes in. And if you just take the time, listen to the samples and stuff on there. If you dig it, support them, buy the album. I listened to it completely beginning to end earlier today. And like I told him before, tracks 7 through 10, to me, definitely I can listen to on repeat. I like the other ones, don't get me wrong, but that final stretch on that album is definitely worth listening to. I really like the one about Candace Owens. Did she ever get back to you, or has she ever said anything about you doing a song that literally has her name in the title?
Well, she's been on vacation right now. I was supposed to get her on my podcast one day. We talked about through the email, but Matter, you just reminded me. I'm going to hit her up through email. I'm going to hit her email about it. But also, even if you don't listen to rap is the most popular genre right now in the United States of America.
It's true.
So, like, your kids probably listen to rap, So, I mean, that's a battlefield. It's not the only battlefield. It's the whole entertainment business we need to combat, because it's all far left nonsense. But there is me plus a few. There's a lot of conservative rap artists now trying to combat the evilness of rap music. So even if you don't listen to rap music yourself, if you have kids that listen to rap music, they're going to listen to it regardless. So I'd rather have somebody try to put out a positive message rather than a negative one.
Well, let me ask just real quick, Red Pill, on this. Have you discussed with all these other, we'll just say MAGA rap artists, doing a compilation album of having event. Or even an event, an online event? There's a lot of these quarantine, performances going on. Any chatter like that going on?
Dude, I've been talking to a group of people that like support Trump or just conservatives that make music, period. I've been talking to people about starting a whole like music conglomerate, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think people will support it because a lot of people in the that are conservatives that listen to rap music, especially the younger ones. So it's like, dude, you know what I'm saying? I thought we should do it because the best way to combat the culture is to have more people doing it, you know? So I'm talking to some people about it, and I'm just, hopefully something happens.
Yeah, this is a point that we made the first time you were on the show. I mean, there are so many different genres of music. There are people of various places on the political spectrum that like that type of music. It doesn't matter what kind it is. Everybody listens to something. And if we're going to win the culture war, we've got to have our toes in every single possible nook and cranny. It is the entertainment industry. They have been filling our minds with garbage for decades. Okay, and I would say that is a major part of why we've seen the slide in Western civilization over the last 70 years. The introduction of Hollywood and then music, and just it goes on and on and on. And you can see this progression, of people singing about wholesome things, and they just push the envelope a little more, and every year something else comes out that is just a little bit more shocking, and people are desensitized to it. There's nothing wrong with listening to different types of music, and there's nothing wrong with being able to listen to music that reflects your values. So, yeah, I honestly think that you should start a label. Start a label of conservative artists and have a place for people to go. I mean, there have been so many different record labels throughout the years that people flock to because they have a certain kind of music, a vibe, a sound. And if you could do it. You could do it. You are a best-selling artist, I mean, major props.
Dude, I was thinking about taking it a step further. I was thinking about getting a group of, like, not only rappers that are conservative, just all genres of music, and the people that would like to make music and represent our values, and start our own streaming service. Because when you pay these other streaming services, you pay Apple Music and Spotify, then you go look at their Twitter bio, they have Black Lives Matter and they're celebrating all this nonsense. So why give their money to them? But we can have enough artists and enough music. If we get enough artists that represents our core values, get them on one platform, have people download that app, or have people support that app or that thing. Just like we need a new Netflix, we need a new everything.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we definitely need a lot, and we're laying the groundwork for that now. I can definitely agree with it. Now I'm going to connect you, if you don't mind, with another artist. Don't know if you met him or heard him. His name's Luke Slytalker. He's a friend of the channel.
Yeah.
Definitely love the work he does. I'd be interested to see what you guys could come up with. So I'm going to send you his info after the show. But for everybody also, since you did mention you have started a podcast, I don't know if you have like a regular schedule you're going to follow on that or not, but I am putting the first episode in the chat for everybody, and you just make sure you subscribe to his channel.
Yes, because I don't have a exact schedule for it because I'm traveling so much now, but when I get them done, just know they're going to be very controversial. And somebody in the chat said we need a new Amazon. Exactly. I've literally listened. Y'all don't understand how much. Listen, I want to have kids. I do not want my kids scrolling through YouTube. You're not going to be able to stop them from using technology. So if they use it, I want to have apps downloaded that I would feel comfortable with them scrolling on. And it's not none of these things that are out right now. I wouldn't feel comfortable. I just wouldn't, because it's all indoctrination. Have y'all watched Netflix lately? Have y'all seen a lot of these ads on these commercials? No, heck no. I do not want my kids watching this if I had them. So, I'm trying to build something that could be for the future so people can feel comfortable with things like that.
Now, when you said that you're traveling a lot right now, what are you doing? Are you traveling to perform?
Yes. 4th of July, I performed in South Dakota at the Amp Fest on July 4th, which was insane. Then I have to go to Houston, Texas this weekend. I don't know if they want me to just speak or perform, but I don't know. So I will be in Houston, Texas again doing something.
I got to ask, because I always do every time you're on the show, are you any closer to performing at the White House or performing at a Trump rally? That's what I want to see.
Me too. I think I would have already done it if it wasn't for COVID-19.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but I think, all that nonsense just pretty much cut what I had going on in the beginning out of the way. But, it's still a possibility in my opinion. I think they should have me for the election night. So when Trump, when Trump wins, I come out and perform Trump as your president. That'll go crazy.
That would be sick. Well, you know, we had several people in the chat asking us to play a song off the album. What song would you want us to play for the audience tonight?
The first one, Gun Toting Patriot.
Gun Toting Patriot. All right. We're going to pull this up right now. You know what really shocked me, and I think this is a good thing for you. YouTube has a Bryson Gray topic channel that they created for you.
I saw that.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, and they normally do this. This is like an automated thing that they do for big presences on YouTube. You know, big musicians, you know, all kinds of different artists. They certainly don't have a Red Pill 78 topic. So this is good, dude. I mean, this allows you to have your stuff, you know, before a lot of additional eyes. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop the link to the Bryson Gray topic channel again, because that's what I've got pulled up. Now, I think this is pulling the videos directly from your channel. It's like created a playlist, basically. But here we go. We're going to play Gun Toting Patriot. And give me just a second. Switch over and let me turn myself off on the screen. All right, here we go. Gun Toting Patriot.
God-fearing, gun-toting patriots. I love the Second Amendment. God gave it to me. Not one politician, not one government legislation can take it from me.
I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking American. This MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. This for free thinkers only, you ain't got no membership. They free, General Flynn out the cage, cause he innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the run know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement. Tell Jussie Smollett that I know this MAGA country. Tell China we know they tryna play us like some dummies. I looked deep into it and I did the math. Why did Obama send money to that Wuhan lab? What is George Soros doing with all of his cash? Why did China take that Harvard guy and drop him a bag? Why is there so much propaganda funny, you ask? How about that Bill Gates vaccine? Now, sorry I'll pass, cause I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Okay.
All red MAGA flags waving through the South like we just want 4 more years. Democrats can't get right. Trumping with that Yeezy flow. Don't go broke on Sleepy Joe. Make America great again. Seeing it what you hating for. Military working overtime, I salute y'all. Antifa steady trying to play them games, yeah we see y'all. Can't knock us down, Republicans standing too tall. About to run it back to back, yeah that's how we ball. Trump, yeah, okay, bury him a legend, yeah Trump, hey. Okay, America's biggest blessing. Free speech advocate, packing never lacking it. I just bought another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gang. Okay, the White House going crazy now. MAGA season, tell them liberals they can't break us down. It's up, they know we run it, best believe it now. About to paint the city red, please don't burn it down.
Gang, 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 MAGA gang, tag, gang, MAGA gang, tag, gang, MAGA gang, tag, gang, hey, yo, I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it.
And I want to make this clear as well. If you want to come and get my rifle, good luck.
Beautiful, dude. Excellent. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
You're an asset to this movement. You know, I mean, to hear lyrics like that, talking about what's really going on, to have a different perspective on stuff, I think it's incredibly valuable. And what you were saying earlier, I mean, kids are going to be listening to this music, okay? I would so much rather hear them listening to a positive message rather than hearing about just, I mean, honestly, like you listen to hip hop nowadays and it's pretty much all the worst things that you can possibly imagine. They are going to destroy a culture, destroy a society. And, I mean, you look and see what's happening on the streets right now and, you wonder how it happened.
Well, it's all evil. It's about reckless sex. It's about taking drugs. It's like they brag about doing drugs now, or it's about selling the drugs. It's about shooting people, or it's about getting shot. It's about all that. That's literally what it's all about. That's literally what all the music is about. Just go through the top 10 rap songs. It's just what it's about. And it's like some of these songs, you be like, dang, this song made me depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like bragging about being depressed or bragging about thinking about suicide. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, if people gonna listen to rap anyway, I feel like I'm finally doing what God gave me the gift to do, rather because I used to make the type of music that was sending these terrible messages anyway.
Right.
I was popular in North Carolina for making the music, but then when my mama called me and cussed me out and said I either have to choose, she said you either gotta be a political pundit or you gonna do music because you can't do both. I said okay. I said all right. Then I made Black Not Democrat and said yeah I can.
Showed her. So I saw many people in the chat asking, where is the best place for them to buy your album, to support you?
Well, just real quick before you go on to that, Bryce, I've been dropping the tweet that you have pinned on your Twitter with all those links. Is there anything else that you need shared for that? I just figured the catch-all was best.
That worked perfect. Whatever your platform is you listen to music on, it's on there. If you want to just support the calls, then it's still number 2 on Amazon, so we can get back up to number 1 for as long as possible. It's still top 5 on iTunes, but that's actually buying it. So but if you're already paying $10 for a streaming service, just use a streaming service. You know what I'm saying? But
right on. Somebody asked me, It's Me says, what's up with John Lewis? I don't know who John Lewis is. So you guys will have to be more specific. I don't know who that is. I need to say thank you to Donna Armstrong. She says, I love your show. Thanks so much for the information and insight. Appreciate you there, Donna. Also, Daro says, hi, Red Pill. Here is a link to a CDC article refuting the efficacy of masks and hand hygiene. Great info to wake up your friends. Awesome, dude. I have seen that article before, and it's one of those things that people just refuse to give in on. I walked into this store with my daughter, and it was right after the World Health Organization, which I think is garbage anyways, but they just made a statement that you don't need to wear masks, that it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help with stopping the spread, especially given the fact that if you don't have symptoms, then you're not going to pass it. And the only way that you are possibly going to pass it is if you are actually sick and, you're going to cough. It's just like the regular flu. Obviously, if you're sick, go ahead and stay home. Don't go coughing on people. I have Greg, if you're watching the show, last year he had the flu. He gets in my car. As soon as he gets in my car, immediately I caught whatever it was that he had. Woke up the next morning and I was sick. So, just be smart about it. You don't need to go doing stupid stuff, and you don't need to be coming down on people because they don't want to buy into this BS. So you were saying that your parents are absolutely on board with the mask wearing and with all that stuff. What about the rest of your family? I mean, do you got any allies, any conservative allies in your crib?
Well, I pretty much red pill all of my siblings. Good. So my little sister, my little brother, they're definitely on board with me, and my older brother, I don't know what he identifies as. I don't know what his deal is with politics or anything about the mask or anything. I don't know.
Somebody was asking if you are on TikTok or if you have ever been on TikTok.
Yeah, I am on TikTok. Aren't they about to delete it? I have like 50,000 followers, but I'm sure they're about to delete it. So,
what do you think about TikTok being a company that's owned and operated by the Chinese Communist Party? That the government might be banning it here.
Well, see, I've heard people debate about it, and I sort of see both sides. But if it really is that much of a risk to our country, then you have to ban it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know what the risks are, because in reality, China has access to Google data. They have access to Twitter data. They have access to Facebook data. They have access. So, I mean, like it or not, China has, if China wants your information, they have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Already. So TikTok, and I don't know if people know, but TikTok used to be called Musically. And Musically, I only know that because I used to know the people that own Musically. And then I guess the CCP bought it from them and changed the name to TikTok. It literally does the same thing. So they have access to your information and stuff like that. And, I mean, I guess just don't use it. But like I said, I mean, all these social media, they all have access to your data and everything. But there could be something I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it could be something else that they found out. And if it's worth banning it, then ban it if it's better for the country. I
mean, personally, I am 100% behind banning TikTok. Because I like in the fine print, they get access to absolutely all the data on your phone. Every single picture, every single video, all your contacts. They can activate the microphone. They can activate the camera, all without your consent. It's, as soon as you install TikTok on your phone, you might as well change all your passwords. Well, first of all, delete TikTok, but then change all your passwords. And the thing about it is that it is just chock full of propaganda for the CCP. You're going through there and you got these just insane videos of ultra-nationalistic Chinese people telling you that, how wonderful China is and how bad the United States is. It's crazy. There's a couple of channels I watch on YouTube. This guy, Lowy86, he used to live in China. He got married to a woman in China. They had a baby. And then he had to run. He had to run from China because the longer that he lived there, the more totalitarian and draconian they got. And they were coming for him, I mean, you look at the way the Chinese government treats their people, and I am just shocked, especially people in the NBA, people on ESPN. What Josh Hawley was just on ESPN, and some commentator told him to F off because he was in favor of banning TikTok. Methods, you're a sports guy. Did you happen to see that?
Right. Yeah. The guy that said that to Howley is the insider. I don't know, Bryson, if you follow the NBA, but he's the insider. When you're looking for breaking news on trades or anything going on, you go to this guy's Twitter account because he's the one breaking it. So the fact that he was the one that said that was a big deal, especially because then now he has been suspended without pay is the word out there for doing that, because that's still too far, because you're saying that to somebody who works for the U.S. government. And all the NBA players were doing the hashtag free Woj, which is what they call him. He's got a long name. But yeah, that's the problem with it, because if you can't say anything, like you had that trigger moment of what Howley was saying was, why can't we have free Hong Kong then on the jerseys? If you're going to change the jerseys, to stand for something, why not do free Hong Kong or support, defend the police? Mm-hmm. And he made those comments, and then the head guy, that's the insider, comes out and tells him to go F himself. That's a problem. That's a very big problem. And that kind of just shows how much China essentially owns the NBA.
Yeah, that's another thing they own. But here's my thing. America allows that to happen. There shouldn't, because we can't, a lot of things that China can do with us, we can't do with China. China owns land in the U.S., not as of America. I highly doubt we own land in China. So I think, and they have access to our technology. I mean, it's a lot that I really don't get why it's possible.
Well, you could see that's where they were working towards, to where they were going to essentially make America number 2 to China across all things: electronics, security, production, all of that stuff going on. And then we would have, it would be the control of it, because essentially you could have then had, Hillary as president for 2 terms was the plan. And then you have China essentially just come over and say, all right, well, you owe us all this debt. We're just going to take the land that we own and stuff. Right. And they're like, all right, it's fine. And the next thing 50 years from now, we're pressing, 2 for English. And that's a problem in itself, because that's not how it should be. It is how a lot of us follow Q. It is infiltration, not invasion. It's not the movies where you see them coming in like Red Dawn style and taking over our country in that way in a hot war. It has been over time for decades.
They've been slowly working on infiltrating America at every single level. as far as I'm concerned, China is an excellent allegory for the deep state and everything that they've done, because they've gone in and they've slowly just taken over everything. They've entered banking, they've entered manufacturing, they've entered real estate, they've entered shipping, and there is so much illegal stuff that they have going on right now. We are so lucky for President Trump. If it wasn't for President Trump, like you said, Methods, we would be pushing 2 for English, and number 1 would be for Chinese. It would be default Chinese. So much stuff. I get sales calls from people speaking Chinese. It's crazy. I had a call that came from the Chinese consulate in Chicago. More than one call coming from the Chinese consulate. I have no idea why they would be calling me, but just some weird voicemail all in Chinese, and I can't speak it, so, I have no idea what they're saying. But it's an insane thing to think. Hillary Clinton, all of these politicians, what's her name, Dianne Feinstein, think about how much information she handed over to the Chinese in the years that she's been in office.
Don't they have like a stronghold on antibiotics too?
Oh, all kinds of medicines.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
All kinds of medicines. President Trump, he's the only one who's advocating for us. Clinton sold us out. Every president before that sold us out. President Trump is doing the first moves to help America since JFK back in the 60s. And of course, we know what happened to JFK, but every president ever since then, I think Reagan was moving us in the right direction, but obviously, a friend of the Bush family went after him very quickly after he got in office, and he realized what he could and could not do. I think that George H.W. Bush was basically like the silent president for the rest of his administration.
Wow.
Yeah. There was, this is something, I don't know if everybody knows this, but the man, was it Hinckley, John Hinckley Jr. that shot Reagan? Or was that the guy who shot John Lennon? I can't remember. Whoever it was that shot Ronald Reagan. He was a family friend of the Bushes, and the bullet that hit Reagan was a special, unreleased bullet that was developed by the clowns in America. So, it was very clearly, another premeditated hit by the U.S. government trying to take him out. And George H.W. Bush had previously been the director of the Clowns in America. So, of course, it's him. It's this guy who was a friend of his family. I believe that he had just had dinner with them. Yes, John Hinckley. John Hinckley shot Reagan. Yeah, Reagan got a warning shot, Sirhan, he shot RFK. Who was it? Mark David Chapman. He's the one who shot Lennon. Yeah. But all of these things, all of these people, they've been operations by the clowns in America, and the whole goal is to get us so that the Chinese can take us over, they can destroy America, and then they're going to switch to some type of one world government, and we will all be slaves, we will all be essentially organs up for harvesting. That's another really horrible thing. I don't understand how people can look at what the Chinese are doing and support them in any fashion. It just boggles my mind. The NBA, these sports leagues that have all this money set up in China, Hollywood. I never used to see Chinese propaganda in movies when I was a kid, but now it's like you turn on a film and you can't not see it. It's a terrible thing.
Because they have so much money invested in Hollywood. Too.
Yeah, AMC Theaters, that's a Chinese company now.
Oh, literally, they own majority of the company.
They own a majority of the company. Yeah, they own a majority of the company.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that we have foreign funding coming in, because we know these movies cost a lot of money, or we're told that they do. Who's funding it? And that kind of gets lost in, paper trails of, you see these intros to movies and they name, a such and such production in part by these names. And they're companies that we've never heard of. And then we never hear of them again. It's just like a shell answer real quick. The graphic has been alive for a few days and now it's gone. But where did that money come and go? And it's essentially payoffs for bribes for propaganda. And that's the kind of world that we've been living in. And somebody mentioned it in the chat, and it's already jumped on me. They said JFK started it. Trump's going to finish it as far as fixing these problems. And it may take longer, obviously, than past Trump, but you can see that, right, Bryson? Like, we are fighting this entire system that's been going on since even a lot of us here were born.
Yeah, no. It's obviously a war, and there's many battles that inside of the big war that's going on. And to me, I look at it as really just good versus evil. What JFK trying to end, like the CIA, trying to end the Fed too, something like that.
Yeah.
And we see how that worked out. But I mean, like I said, we are at war, and there's so many different types of battles going on within the war, and people have to stand up. That's why I think the silent majority can no longer be silent. But yeah.
Well, okay.
I just got to clarify. I don't think that Ronald Reagan was a sellout. I'm saying that Ronald Reagan was stopped short of fulfilling his mandate by Bush and the clowns, because he clearly came in with the best of intentions. And I think that if it hadn't been for that assassination attempt, that he would have been able to do even more for America.
All right. Just Bryson, as far as let's kind of segue into what's been going on lately. I know we've had a lot going on with Trump, since Trump's been elected. Obviously, the left, the mainstream media, all one and the same, essentially, all this collusion of trying to take the president down and all that. We know this year has been a obvious attack with a pandemic because, we're talking about China here. And then we went right into what a lot of us were calling on our side, that we were going to get the race war. And then what happened? We had the whole George Floyd thing occur. And then obvious protests that were more than about George Floyd, because they're destroying cities and setting up, Burning Mans essentially in the middle of 6-block radiuses in towns and just having free-for-alls. What was going on through your mind during all this stuff, watching it, being essentially a Trump supporter and not buying into what they're selling?
Well, I think they're trying to purposely force division, because of course, if everybody is fueled with rage and dividing each other, that creates chaos. And of course, if everybody's under chaos, then they can't pay attention to what's really going on. Because even throughout the George Floyd thing, places burning down, even in the midst of that, I was going to gas stations, going to Walmart, going to Harris Teeter. You see people of all walks of life, of every color. Nobody's breaking out in fights. Nobody is breaking out, I don't like you because of your color. So it wasn't a reality, and it still really isn't. But what their plan is sort of working, because it is getting like very intense. But I think it's not really about race. They're just trying to make it think it's about race. It's really about ideologies. Because if you look at Black Lives Matter, what they're doing, it's not just black people with Black Lives Matter signs out there. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of condescending white allies.
Yeah, exactly. But it's an ideology war, because Black Lives Matter, they're Marxists. You have all these Antifa people, they're also, in that same crowd. This is what they want. They want to destroy America, period. Somebody tweeted me today and said the fact that you have 6 American flags in your Twitter bio is proof that something about racism and a whole bunch of nonsense, that I shouldn't have American flags in my Twitter bio. So it's really about ideas. So that's why people with MAGA hats on can possibly get attacked. You know what I'm saying? No matter what color you are, no matter what color you are with that MAGA hat on, I promise you it don't. But no, we're not doing it. People walk around Bernie Sanders and things like that. So it is a war going on, and they're trying to make us think it's about something that it's not. But it's a war about ideas, core values.
You know what is just shocking to me is the hypocrisy of these people on the left. It is ideological, and it's also illogical. They say that they are supporting one thing, they want to keep people safe, but then at the same time, in a heartbeat, they will just go after someone physically. They will try to destroy someone. I was reading some of the messages that you posted on Twitter, the things that people will say to you. I mean, it's just absolutely shocking to me. I would never consider speaking to someone in the way that people speak to you. And you're not alone. This is something we hear from people on the right, who are a variety of races. If you are, it doesn't matter if you're Caucasian, it doesn't matter if you're African American, doesn't matter if you're Hispanic. If you are on the right, then you must have some level of inbred racism, and and you're a terrible person. But then you look at the content of what they say to you, And I think any logical person would say that, no, you guys are the terrible ones, the way that you were treating people.
Dude, a guy literally retweeted my tweet and said, some, but then he said, I hope you get shot like 50 Cent did.
Yeah.
And then we go to his bio, it says Black Lives Matter. And
except yours. Yours doesn't.
Except mine. But you know what's crazy? I tweeted that. I screenshotted a few of the comments, tweeted that, and said Black Lives Matter doesn't apply like if you're a Trump supporter. And a lot of them were like, exactly. Yes, that's exactly what we're saying. So they're telling you like, yes, like, yeah, that should be proof that it's not about color or race. It's not. They think you're on the wrong side. Wrong side. If you're on the right, that's what you deserve to them.
They use that as a pinch point because if they use race as the reasoning behind what they're doing, even if it's not really the reason, then it's indefensible to go from any other point after that, and that's what they've done. That's what they did here on YouTube. It was right after everything started with the chaos in the country. I did 2 shows about it. Immediately, they just ripped the demonetization. They took everything away from me here, and you have to have the ascribed point of view, and if you don't have that point of view, then people will immediately come after you, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. We have slid so far back here in America, and it's been gradual. You go back and look at iPod's videos on the Weather Underground, and you can see it slowly happening. They set it up, and they just kept moving the goalpost, and that's what I was talking about earlier with Republicans. They allowed it to happen. Their values, they did not stand on their values, and they allowed for that slow boil of the frogs. And here we are. This is the logical conclusion. We are fighting for our lives. We are fighting for our country. We are fighting for future generations. And that's why this is the most important thing that I could ever possibly be involved in.
Yes. And I'll tell people this also at these events. It just seemed like the left, they're not compromising on anything. No. They're just going to not go with it. But it's like Republicans and conservatives, they're so quick to compromise on their values, they don't stand up for it. And all you doing is that's basically handing it over to the left. So I feel like we've been just handing culture over to the left. We've been handing politics over to the left. And like even now, like a lot of things that Republicans are saying is way more moderate and left-leaning than what they used to say 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. But the left going farther left. They're not going to the middle. They're going farther to the left, and we're just allowing it because nobody wants to stand up and just stand on our values. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. We want to do this. We don't want to do that. But you don't realize this is a war. They don't care. They will beat you up in the streets if they see you with a red MAGA hat on.
Yep.
We are at war. And I had a tweet about this. I said, how are we letting people that don't even know which bathroom to go into bully us? We're the ones with the guns.
Right?
We're the ones that's trained most of the time. And we letting grown men with bras and green hair tell us what we can and can't do, what we can and can't wear. That's why I make sure I wear MAGA stuff everywhere. Or I'm wearing some patriotic. This hat, I just went out. I just go with this hat on. And a Dan Forest shirt. I'm from North Carolina. But I mean, no, people like that, they're not tricking me out of my belief system. So
no,
right? I mean, you see, like, with this, especially what's going on now, Black Lives Matter and all that stuff going on, they have different layers, and if you question them on one layer, they're going to give you another garbage excuse, and you peel that back and we call them out on it. But there is a meme out there that I agree is true. It's like, what the left doesn't need to happen is when all the people stand up against them that really just want to be left the hell alone. Yeah, like they really just want to live their lives, be peaceful, be you, do what you do. I don't care what your color of your skin is, what you do for a living. It's not hurting anybody. Otherwise, we'll just coincide with each other, and our taxes will help build up our economy together. That's the whole point of it. You don't have to get along with everybody and also break bread with everybody. And to see them do that, to where like when somebody like yourself stands up and says, well, yeah, I agree, Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter too. You have a song about it, that to me, and then they look at you and call you a race traitor.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I said all lives matter, and that includes Black lives. And people called me a coon instantly when I said that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever.
Right. Well, that gets in the whole thing I'm talking about when it comes to layers. Like, okay, you took took apart the first layer. You're a black man that agrees with them, but you also agree all lives matter. It's like, okay, let's go to the next page of the book. Okay, well, no, now you're just a race traitor because you're supporting a racist who actually invited you to the White House. You know, and they keep, you know what I mean? Like, it is that much nonsense, and we see it. They know it's nonsense, but they're willing to die on that mountain, or at least, you know, get, you know, rubber bullets and, you know, enough bruises to where they complain on Twitter about it. You know,
well, the problem is they don't know it's nonsense. I talk to these people every day. I still live in a black community, and most people are liberals, and they always threaten me too. So I have conversations with them, and the problem is what they're saying is nonsense. But if every single person you talk to is co-signing this nonsense, if your parents are co-signing this nonsense, if you get on social media in your little bubble co-signing your nonsense, at some point you don't think it's nonsense because you're going to go with the consensus of the people that you surround yourself with. So the problem is when you talk to them, they're so emotional about it because they genuinely think what they're saying is accurate. They don't know it's nonsense. That's the scary part.
Okay. I'll definitely accept that, and I probably need to rephrase here. I'm just looking at the overall aspect of what's going on here because we pay attention to like mainstream media and them putting out this stuff. You know, like go back and look at, you know, how they supported Antifa, and they just say, oh, they're just acting out. You know, they're against fascists and stuff. But no, I'll agree with you on that. There are some that are stuck in the echo chamber.
It's scary too.
And they genuinely believe that. That's why we have to always at least respect to a point when we got Black Lives Matter protests, that not everybody we see on video or they're in public are all genuinely like they're nefariously in agreeing, okay, yeah, we're also raising money for the Democrat Party, that most of them are white. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty goofy about it, but I agree with you there.
It's dumb. Black Lives Matter thing is so dumb. I actually went to the protest around here. Of course, I had my MAGA hat on with my bulletproof vest and my, you know, sub 2000 Caltech. But you know, so I was there, and the stuff they were saying was just pure nonsense. Stop killing our brothers and our sisters. Okay, but who's killing your brothers and your sisters? It's sure not the police. It's you. Like,
right.
Yeah.
You know, like what are they talking about? Like it doesn't make sense, but they think it makes sense. That's what scares me. It's like what?
You know,
I can go ahead, Rippo.
I was just going to say, you know, I mean, it boggles the mind. You've got far more people in the community, in inner cities, killing each other in horrific crimes on a daily basis, you know, constantly. We're always pointing to Chicago. You know, every weekend you got scores of people, children, being gunned down in the streets. And the people out there protesting are absolutely ignoring that fact. Or you've got this poor 8-year-old girl driving around Atlanta with her family this past week. They try to pull into a parking lot, and these protesters open fire on the car, killing this 8-year-old girl. Okay, so obviously that black life doesn't matter. I mean, they're clearly sending that message. I mean, if you really care about your community, if you care about humanity, then you would be able to take a look at that stuff and actually make a change. You want to hear something really funny? I saw this amazing clip on John Ward's channel yesterday. Don Lemon back in 2013 with a message to the black community of America talking about, you know, like fixing the inner city, you know, making sure that, you know, keeping your families together, having children when you're ready. He even said, pull up your pants. Like it was
Don Lemon?
Don Lemon, I will send you the link because it was just amazing. Because John Ward, he took Don Lemon's statement from 2013 and juxtaposed it with his statements about President Trump. He's completely flipped. You know, he went from saying these, you know, very reasonable things, you know, and also, you know, don't litter, you know, keep your community beautiful. You know, he said I've lived in several white communities, and for some reason you don't see people littering in the same way that you do in the inner cities, you know. And I mean, there is no race of people in cities that have the market on suffering or, you know, crime or, you know, acting terrible. For some reason, it is the presence of people in a densely packed urban area that creates them in this like different headspace. You know, but you've got some real problems in the inner city, and the people who are out there protesting, you've got less than 10 people that are gunned down by police in bad shootings every year, but you've got hundreds and thousands of people who are killed on the streets in violent crime, and nobody says a thing. It's a terrible thing.
Unsolved. In Chicago, I think the overwhelming amount of murder cases are unsolved.
Yeah.
Unsolved.
And good luck now defunding the police. You're never going to solve it.
Now they want to take away the police. Not only are you not going to solve them, you might as well just let the gangs run every neighborhood then.
That's right.
What are we doing? Like, what? Honestly, I'm just so confused. What point are we at? And, as a person that reads the Bible, it says there will come a time where wrong will be considered right and right will be considered wrong. And I mean,
we're there.
Right.
I mean, hey, I don't have to. We got to be there.
Yeah, and here's the thing is that they want to get rid of the police. They want to, toss out the government so that they can become the police and that they can take over the power. And once that happens, God help us. I mean, unfortunately, if that takes place, then it's over for us. And again, I go back to your statement earlier. This is a war. It's not just a culture war. Okay, we are fighting for our very lives, for the future of this country and our children's future. It is the most important thing that we've ever done. And, so that's, again, another reason I say we've got to be able to have these conversations with people. Because if you got a person on the left who has just been brainwashed and just pushed a whole bunch of garbage their entire life, they don't know any better. You're right, Bryson. They think they are doing the right thing because they have been completely manipulated their entire life. And it's up to people like us to change their minds, to win their hearts over, and to show them what true value of human life actually is.
I agree, 100%, and a lot of us out here trying. We need a lot more people to get out there and speak that word too. Because, oh
man, we're getting Muffin Gate 2.0, man. I don't know. Do you know about that, Bryson?
No, I don't know.
yeah. He on a live stream had his dogs go at it under his feet, and it was a whole thing, and it ended up going viral in our movement. So his dog's name's Muffin, so it became Muffin Gate. Everybody's kind of crossing their fingers. I think they're even having their own personal Deadpool on when it's going to happen again. Whoever thought they had today, you got close. But no, I can agree with all that. There is a certain point. Now, I know a lot of us in what we're doing here, whether we call it the Q movement, the digital soldiers, if you will, a lot of our efforts, we believe in doing this online because there is a lot of narratives that we have to destroy here, and we got to support the president. He uses social media, so he needs to have that backup. But I totally agree with you. When we have things they just had the protest earlier today. What was it in Brooklyn? And it was a MAGA protest to support Donald Trump.
Nice.
I can support that all day by all means, and I think those kind of things are going to ramp up. So I know we've only got a few minutes left, Bryson, but how do you see the next few months, which is the most pivotal outside of the 2016 election? How do you see this playing out?
Scary enough, I genuinely don't know. I'm still thinking about what could possibly happen before September 9th. Right. y'all know what the significance of that is, of course. But I genuinely don't know because so much. It seems like it's happened so rapidly, one thing after another, with no breaks ever since the impeachment. Ever since impeachment, things been coming back to back to back to back to back with no breaks. So I'm I just got my popcorn out, and I right. Seriously, I'm just yo, what's gonna happen? And I'm gonna continue trying to fight how I'm fighting, but I don't know.
You think Joe Biden's going to be the actual nominee?
I think whoever he makes his vice president is going to be the nominee. He's just a vessel. He's just a.
I can agree with vessel. Right. No, I've been working under this theory, chewing lately, that he's going to accidentally come down with the virus, and that's going to be his excuse to step aside, because I don't see them logistically running him. And then they're going to be oh, we need a new answer. And it's going to be somebody that, even though we don't want any of them, they're not going to have, they're going to have their cognitive skills. And it's going to be a totally different spin than who Biden's been for the last, several months. That personally, to me, is going to be how he tries to bow out.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, they know this. That's why they're already saying Biden's not going to debate Trump. But come on, you can't put him on stage with Trump. Like, right. I would probably end up feeling bad. Like, okay, because I probably end up feeling bad. Cause come on, man, you can't be Trump and Biden on the same stage on debate. Everybody knows that. Even my mama and daddy know that.
I think that the press knows it too. I mean, I saw some articles over the weekend, oh, we don't need a debate. We don't want to put them on stage together because they know that Trump would just absolutely, for lack of a better word, crucify Joe Biden.
That's exactly what would happen. When was the last time presidential candidates did not debate, though?
I don't think that it's ever happened in the history of our nation. I think that every single election cycle, we always have a debate. There's multiple debates. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen. I think you're right, though. Whoever Biden puts in as his vice president is probably actually going to be the nominee. So, I mean, right now, though, whoever that could be, that's up for debate, man. I mean, it could be literally anybody at this point. Yeah.
Right, because they would all agree that it would be better than Biden, whoever they pick, at least on their side.
Exactly.
So it's that bad. But, Bryson, we're getting pretty much to the end of the show here. I just want to say, everybody here in the audience, I'm dropping once again the link to Bryson's tweet with his album, all the links to buy it. You said that you were going to maybe find out tomorrow about the Billboard sales.
I will find out. Ain't no maybe. I will.
Let us know.
You're right. Yeah. So I'm going to put out the tweet. If you have the money, if you can, don't feel bad if you don't. I'm going to put the link out here, rapid fire style. At the very least, follow him on Twitter. He's definitely fun to watch. If anything, you get to learn what he eats every morning, which is exciting to me. Have to check that off in the morning. So yeah, if you can support his album, I'd love to see it hit on there and be on his resume for it. But yeah, Bryson, is there anything you want to leave us with?
No, just we in the war, so just make sure everybody is willing to fight. For those that can't, we gotta make sure the ones that can go harder for it. Also buy the album. Yes, what he said.
For real. All right. Well, Bryson, thanks again for being here, brother. I love it when you come on the show. Methods, as always, thanks for another great program. Thank you to everybody in the audience who showed up. Thank you to everybody who did leave a like. We got 3.1 thousand likes, almost 4,500 people here. Leave a like on your way out. Thank you to the mods for keeping things comfy. And I will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for another edition of Red Pill News. Not going to be taking a day off this week since I just took off 7 days. I love y'all. Thank you very much. Good luck and God bless.